Hey guys, welcome back. So we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're not going to do a Banks install. We're not going to do a Hamilton swap, but it is getting that time of the year where temperatures are starting to fall. I mean, I'll go outside here in a second and I'll show you. We got snow up in the mountains right close to the house. So it is that time of the year where we got to think about something else in the shop besides just getting work done because it gets cold. Now, I do have a little 110 heater that's mounted to the roof in here, but sadly, it's not enough to keep this place warm and comfortable to work in the middle of December or January. So last year I had the Mr. Buddies going, and they do a good job of heating up an area, but you got to worry about the noxious fumes that will kill you slowly, especially when you're on your back on the ground, because that stuff is heavier than air, so it comes down. So a company reached out to me though, and they wanted me to review and test a product. And it came in at no better time because this is one of the suitcase style little diesel heaters. We're going to show you in a second. So hold on, let me flip it around. So as I said, snow's all melted from there. And it's getting pretty close to being all melted up there in those mountains. But I think it was like 38 degrees this morning when we got up. Anyway, here's what we got. We got the WIPPRO all-in-one diesel heater, International Edition. Ideal for campers, cars, RVs, and boats. Also going to be great for working here in the garage. Now, if you notice on the box, it is 12 volt, 24 volt, and 110 volt, which means you're going to be able to plug this thing into the wall. You don't have to have a battery with an inverter or nothing like that going to keep this thing going all the time. So I am going to get this thing unboxed. I'm going to show you that. And then we're going to fire it up and we're going to go through a test process and see just how good this thing does. Then I'm going to give you my thoughts on how I'm going to make this kind of a semi-permanent addition inside of the garage. And I think that'll be fun for us all. So hold on, we'll be right back. Okay, let's unbox this bad boy, all right? Already, packaging looks really good. So let's see if we can get her out of here without killing ourselves too much. Okay. Let's see what we got in the box here. First of all, let's get her out of the package. What I like already though, this isn't another VIPPRO ad. Every time you open up TikTok or Facebook Reels or whatever, you get a VIPPRO ad. And yes, they do have some pretty, what seemingly is okay stuff. I haven't used it, so I don't know. This is the WIPPRO. It's an 8 kilowatt. It's multi-voltage sourced, so that means you can run it off of 12 volt, 24 volt, or you can even run it off of your household power. This one also has a handy dandy little remote. But let's get into what's here. So that right there is going to be your discharge. And this looks like it's going to be your muffler / exhaust. You got 2 screws to attach it, plus you've got the muffler. And then let's see what's in this kit. In here, you got your discharge port, small parts bag. This will be for your low voltage power supplies. And then this kit, this is what I'm kind of excited about because I will be using this here in the garage. I really don't want to have to bring in a battery and run it off that and then an inverter to charge the battery all the time. So this one has its very own inverter power supply. Plastics are getting better these days, or I'm getting old and weak, one or the other. So here's what's in the box. We've got the diesel heater, your small parts bag, your directional discharge, muffler, your low voltage power wires, and some screws. Plus you've also got your ducting for your exhaust and for your discharge. So let's get this thing, I'm going to get it fueled up and fired up, and then we're going to come back to doing some more video, show you exactly what this little bad boy can do, all right? Okay, so we got her fired up. Now, all of this hardware is for mounting the unit down onto a solid surface, whatever. Also for mounting down that muffler right there. In the kit, you get a couple hose clamps, of course. We got the big hose clamp there, a big hose clamp there. This is your air discharge. You can loosen that clamp and rotate that around so that you can get optimal discharge to whatever area you want. You can aim it, let's put it that way. Now you've also got a small hose clamp and a small hose clamp for this. Now, right now, I wish I would have brought my temperature gun home so we can measure the temperature, but give you an idea on how hot this is. This was silver when we started, and I don't even want to touch it. It's going to burn me. Same with this muffler, and the exhaust out here is really, really hot as well. So I'm going to go through with you an idea that I've got in my head. I seen it on a YouTube channel a little while back, and it's a very, very good use for that hot exhaust. That way you're not just throwing hot air out the door. You're going to utilize all of the hot temperatures, whether it's discharge or exhaust, to give you optimal amount of space heating. So we've had it running for about, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, and it's pretty warm. Check this out. We are at 240 degrees on the clean air discharge. That is amazing. It's supposed to be able to heat up a very significant area, probably around 1,300 square feet. It's got 2 gallons worth of fuel, and at optimal situations you'll get up to, I think, 40 hours of runtime out of it. I don't know, we'll have to see. I'm kind of curious as to what kind of diesel consumption that we're actually going to have. Your smart display, of course, is not going to come up on the camera. Maybe it would if I powered it on. So there's where it's giving you all the pertinent information. You can go through your settings and change some stuff. I need to figure out how to see if I could change that to Fahrenheit, because I'm not a big fan of reading stuff in Celsius here in the United States. These 2 buttons are where you control your temperature up and down, and then you come into here and you can control temperature settings to how hot you want it. So it's a lot of information in there, but in your instructions, an idiot can follow these. So you see the different colors on here. They're all the same heater, they're just different colors. Your instructions are literally: step 1, put fuel in it. Step 2, hook battery power up. Step 3, turn it on with either the remote or the control panel. Step 4, wait for it to start blowing out hot air. Now, exhaust gas contains poisonous gas. During operation, exhaust port must be mounted outdoors. Muffler must be mounted horizontally according to the diagram, making a small hole facing down. That is not the muffler that this came with. That is the muffler that this came with. Make sure your mounting points are facing down so that when you do mount that thing, it's going to be up in the right angle. I don't know if that even matters, but we'll go by what the instructions say. Now, let me get back to what I'm going to do with this exhaust. If you can find yourself one of those old radiators that they use to heat from boiler heat, heat a room like in old hospitals, even old houses and stuff. If you take and pipe this correctly into one of those old radiators, you can let that exhaust warm up that radiator, And then I don't know if any of you have seen those fans that you can put on top of a wood burning stove that just operate off of heat. You don't plug them in, there's no batteries or anything, but they start spinning because of the heat, and it'll force air across that radiator. I don't have access to one of those radiators, and I'm not about to hop on Marketplace and try and find one and then go spend $200 because somebody thinks they got a pot of gold. I'm gonna go buy me a whole bunch of galvanized pipe and some fittings, some elbows and T's and stuff, and I'm gonna make me a little radiator. And then I'm gonna plumb it into this thing, and I'm gonna get me a couple of them fans to help blow out that air and utilize the hot air coming out your clean discharge and the conducted heat from the exhaust into that manifold, and a fan blowing that across. Idea, if you build that manifold correctly, temperature is this exhaust escaping should be very, very small compared to what it is right now. Now, I got to figure out where I'm going to mount it in my garage. I'm thinking this wall over here somewhere. I might put a shelf in right there, mount that heater up onto it, and then put a triple wall chimney flue style port and exit the exhaust right out the wall right there. I'm just having a hard time wanting to think that I'm going to drill a hole into my wall. So I might actually just go underneath the garage door with it, do an insulated pipe underneath the door so I don't burn the seal on the bottom of the door. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll see what kind of temperatures we have after we come out of that manifold that I build. But once I build that manifold, I'll let you know and give you guys another updated video on that. But for right now, I just wanted to get you guys a nice little video of this guy in operation. So you can find them on Amazon. I'm sure I'll have a link. And we're sitting right here about 245 degrees still. So that's about as hot as it's going to get right now. It is, you know, like 50 degrees outside and both garage doors are open. So it's what it is. It's pretty awesome. The other really cool thing about this is, if you can't see there in the background, that's my clam ice fishing tent. My ice auger is back behind there. Plus we've got ice fishing reels and rods in there, and we've got another ice fishing tent up there. That tote and that tote are all ice fishing gear. That's the floor for the clam. There's a fish finder and another fish finder, and there's two fish finders in there. Plus I've got all of my other homemade jaw jackers in that bucket. But I do like to do some ice fishing, so that thing is going to be really awesome to take ice fishing, because again, you don't get the gases built up in your ice fishing shelter, or any kind of shelter for that matter, that can and do kill people every year. And because it's not propane heat, it's a dry heat. You don't get the condensation built up inside of your ice fishing stuff like you do with using your Mr. Buddy heaters and stuff like that. And for a lot of years we used Mr. Buddies, and we used the big sunflower style heaters. We stay warm when we're out ice fishing. Be 20 below outside and we're out there in shorts and t-shirt fishing in the tent. You know, we stay out on the ice for 2, 3, 4 days at a time. This thing is going to be way better than packing around a 30-pound propane tank, 3, 4 heaters, all that stuff. I do carry a battery power supply pack with me when we're out there, because we'll have the flasher going, we'll have the fish finder going, plus we've got lighting, ability to charge your phone, plus the UV lights that all run off of that 12-volt battery pack so that we can recharge our glow-in-the-dark plastic lures and stuff. So having a battery source for this is going to be no problem. Literally, the only thing we're going to have to carry is that and a 5-gallon thing of diesel, even if you need a 5-gallon. I got to find out how much diesel this thing's going to go through as we're using it. But it's an awesome unit. I'm going to provide you guys a link and pick one up. I think you'll enjoy it very much. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and cut this thing off and get everything all stitched together so I can get it out to you guys. WIPPRO. Embrace the warmth of winter and indulge in cozy comfort, it says. But this one is a pretty nice little heater. I'm going to recommend it. So anyway, talk to you guys later. Peace. Thank you.